So I recently saw a clip of an interview with Sam Witwer, the voice of Darth Maul, kind of talking about the character and some questions that he himself has had about Darth Maul. And with the new show coming out, I would like to talk about it. But first, let's just go ahead and watch that clip. That way we can get into it.
I've always had a lot of questions about this character. Why did Maul never give up Palpatine? I mean, you have a show where the Jedi are like, we know that there is someone named Darth Sidious. We know that he is manipulating things. Maul, through all those years, knows exactly who the Sith Lord is. He could go to a phone booth, call up the Jedi and say, it's Palpatine, and hang up the phone and really screw Palpatine's plans. He never does that. Why? The only moment he finally decides, okay, I'm going to turn on Palpatine, is at the very end, right before the world ends, Order 66 and the Clone Wars ends. He becomes so freaked out that out of desperation he reaches out to Ahsoka Tano. But Palpatine killed his family. Palpatine showed no loyalty to Maul. And the moment Maul found loyalty in Savage Opress, he took that from him. So what is it? Why did Maul maintain this loyalty? I'm saying too much. Saying way too much.
So yeah, that's a question that I've wondered myself so much about Darth Maul. Sam Witwer really brought the character of Darth Maul, as far as who he is, what he stands for, his anger, his hate. He really brought that all to the forefront. Obviously, we had Darth Maul in the episode 1, Phantom Menace, but obviously not that much. So he's really, truly, to me, the one who's really drew me to the character of Darth Maul. And with Sam Witwer to ask this question, being someone who is such a huge lore nerd, and I mean, he knows more Star Wars lore than many other people, especially that being Darth Maul. So the fact that he wonders this himself, I find very interesting, because this is a question, he stated it perfectly. Just, Darth Maul, there's only a tiny, tiny handful of people who know who the Dark Lord of the Sith is. One of those being Maul, and Maul, being of that tiny little group, has the most motivation to just reveal it. And he could do it at any point. And, he could, like you said, just call up the Jedi and just say, oh yeah, Palpatine, yeah, he's the Dark Lord of the Sith. Now, of course, they're not going to just take 100% his word for it. They're going to look into it a little bit more, even though they already suspected him enough. I mean, Mace Windu even said in episode 3 that the dark side clouds him.
The dark side of the Force surrounds the Chancellor.
And, the Sith have been gone for almost a millennia.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
And the fact that there is such this dark Force energy around Palpatine, I don't even think Darth Maul would have had to say that. They should have just automatically known. Like, there were so many signs. I know that's a huge debate, just on the fact of how diluted and how basically off track the Jedi went, because there were such obvious signs that Palpatine was the Dark Lord. And again, with Sam Witwer's statement about, Darth Maul could do it at any time. At any point, he could reveal who it is and just completely throw his plans, out the window. Now, why doesn't he do it? Now, this could be a couple different reasons. With the new Darth Maul show coming out, hopefully we're going to be getting some answers to that, along with many other questions surrounding the character of Darth Maul. Some of it could be for the fact that Darth Maul probably still somewhat stands for what he, trained under Palpatine for. I mean, obviously in episode 1, he trained with him and he shared in the vision that Palpatine had, as far as getting rid of the Jedi and whatnot. Another part of it I would think is obvious is fear. He's a loose cannon. He has no loyalty. He is not under Palpatine or, Lord Sidious anymore. Yet, during that whole time in the underworld and all that stuff, he never once says who he is, just purely out of fear. And he had a couple encounters, 1 or 2 encounters with Palpatine after episode 1, and he just, treated him like a ragdoll. He knows that Lord Sidious is way too powerful for him. And that's why towards the end of, in the Clone Wars series, he kind of turns, like you said, he turned to Ahsoka like last minute, as in, he knows what's about to go down. He's had a change of mind, or at least doesn't want Palpatine and that type of power. And so he reaches out to Ahsoka for one last chance to end, Lord Sidious, Palpatine, his whole empire plan, all that stuff. So he did, towards the end, to try to at least do something about it, but of course that did not go his way. But that really is an interesting question. I would love to know in the comments too what you guys think. Like, what is it? What are some of those things that you think basically held Darth Maul's lips closed about Lord Sidious? Again, he could have done it at any point. He could have called up the Jedi. He could have, I mean, heck, even if he reached out to Obi-Wan, like, I think that would be a strong move. The fact that he's not just reaching out to any Jedi, he's reaching out to Obi-Wan, to warn him and reveal who this Dark Lord of the Sith is. Along with this, there's many other different questions, and there's another small little clip of an interview with Sam Witwer about some of the other questions I'm hoping we get answered in this new series. So let's check out that clip real fast.
He knew the Empire was going to emerge. That was the plan from the beginning. He didn't know his master's entire plan, but he knew a lot. He knew enough. Until it happened. And he learned he didn't really know anything. And he looks around at this Empire, and he goes, what is this? Because you have to understand, Maul is a classically trained Force user. He comes from a time of knights and dragons and magic. And then suddenly this Empire shows up, and all of the color and the magic in the galaxy is being drained away, being replaced by this mechanized, soulless Empire. How does he feel about that? Is that what he signed up for? Is that what he thought he was building with his master? And further, this is a universe, the magic is so gone from the universe that his sworn enemy, the Jedi Knights, they're gone. How does he feel about that?
It's a lot of questions.
Yeah, how does he feel about the Jedi Knights now that they're gone? Has his opinion changed? Who knows? I mean, we do, but I'm not going to tell you. And what is he going to do with himself at this point?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What is he going to do with himself until perhaps he finds someone and he decides to offer some wisdom to the next generation? And that's a whole other set of questions. How does Maul train an apprentice? Not how does a Sith do it? How does Maul do it?
So yeah, just some interesting questions that we have to hopefully look forward to being answered in the new series, the new Darth Maul series, Shadow Lord. And I'm excited, like I said, of all the announcements of Star Wars Celebration, that show has me the most anticipated. You know, the general output of at least George Lucas's idea of Darth Maul was that, you know, he would be a crime lord and he would train, you know, someone underneath him. And so they're obviously hoping it's going to follow in George Lucas's footsteps in that. But of course, you know, it's not going to be completely 100% the same. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Why do you think Darth Maul did not reveal who the Dark Lord of the Sith was? I mean, whether it was to the Jedi or whoever, I mean, something that is an ongoing theme in Star Wars, especially if you read novels and comics of Star Wars, is that knowledge is like the biggest moneymaker. It's not weapons, it's not armies, it's knowledge. And there's so many instances where people with just that little bit of knowledge will give you that for just the, you know, nice pretty penny. And so Darth Maul could have even done that. I mean, he had his own plans, his own, you know, underground criminal organization he wanted to do, and he could have used that to his advantage. He could have, again, selling it to the highest bidder, the Jedi, you know, whoever, about who the Dark Lord of the Sith was. He had this outrageous, like, most juiciest piece of knowledge that anybody would probably pay for, and he still kept his mouth shut. And again, I think as part of it is the fear of you know, the Dark Lord of the Sith, Palpatine, just of what he would do, knowing that if he did foil his plans, that who's going to be on his #1 hit list is Darth Maul. So that could be a good reason why I think he, you know, kept his mouth shut during all the Clone Wars. But all this together, with this coming from Sam Witwer, again, he is a huge lore nerd. He knows so much about Star Wars. He is one actor who I have not met yet. I try so many times to go to somewhere he's going to be, but unfortunately I cannot be there. So it's just interesting to see his perspective, is that, you know, he doesn't know. I'm sure obviously he has his own theories. He kind of talked about it a little bit there. So as we get closer to the new show, Darth Maul, Shadow Lord, I'm sure we're going to be getting some more trailers, maybe some clips of, you know, some episodes and whatnot. And so again, as far as the movies, the TV shows, all that stuff, that's the one I'm most excited about. I just think there's so much unexplored story between, you know, the Clone Wars and what we know in Rebels, because, you know, at the very end, spoiler alert, Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul in the show Rebels. So there's just so much there. And again, Sam Witwer is an actor. He's also voiced Palpatine as well. But as far as his voicing of Darth Maul, has really, his passion towards the character and just how much he tries to portray just this angered, you know, being in the universe is just amazing for me to see. And I do have a lightsaber, Darth Maul lightsaber, that I so desperately want him to sign. But again, I have not had the opportunity yet. So maybe at the next Star Wars Celebration or something like that. So, but again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. let's, maybe we can figure out some different theories. I'd love to read your comments, and I'd like to kind of maybe start a little discussion on that. So again, let those comments flow below. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys next time. And also be sure to check out my other channel, Larry the Stormtrooper, for the latest animations as well. See you guys later.